I'm going to replace the hinge pins and bushings on the 2002 Mustang GT. And as you can see, with the door closed, the gap isn't that bad. It's actually decent. A little off. It's a little wider at the top than it is at the bottom. However, when I open the door slightly, enough to get it off the catch, you can see that it drops. Okay, and we're just about touching. We're not quite touching. It's not, it's not hanging up yet, but it's just a matter of time. And that's because the hinge pins are worn. And you can see if I grab the end of the door and raise it up, you can see all the movement I got. All right. And that is because the hinge pins are worn, the bushings and the pins. So either got to replace the hinges entirely or just the pins and bushings. So I'm going to go with replacing the pins and bushings. Let's take a look at what's involved. Okay, so here you go. Here are the hinges. And you can see this pin is just the head is flat, and the other side, well, you can't see it, but it's flat too. Bottom one too. All right, so that means that they're basically riveted or pinned over on the ends. That means you'll have to grind off the heads of the pins. So the first step will be to remove the door, and it's not really that big of a deal. You just have to remove some interior panels so you can disconnect this wiring harness. Then take a Sharpie and trace the outline of the hinges onto the door. This step is important because it'll save you a lot of time in alignment when you reinstall the door. Unbolt the 4 hinge to door bolts and remove the door. If you'd like to see a detailed video on the door removal, you can click on the link here or go to my YouTube channel and find it under Mustang Repairs. Now that the door's removed, I can get a die grinder in there. Okay, pin is cut. The reason I cut the pin instead of grinding off the head is because you need to grind the head of the pin off the end that doesn't have splines. And I think that's the top because I'm pretty sure the splined end is on the bottom, but I'm not positive. But now I don't have to worry about that because I can pull each half of the pin out individually. Now I can take a screwdriver, put the blade in the cut, and pry. There you go. It seems to be hanging up on a bar, and since I'm replacing the bushing, I'll just pull it out with a pair of vice grips. There we go. Pull through the bushing. And this end does have the splines on it, so the pin gets installed from the bottom up. And I'll bring it up closer to the camera so you can see the splines. Now I know for a fact there are no splines on the top of the pin, so I should be able to twist it out. I even ground the head off the pin on this side, just in case the pin had a shoulder, but it doesn't. The problem is I can't get a good grip on the pin with these crappy A-grip vice grips. Since I don't have a decent pair of vice grips, I'll drill a 5/32 hole in the pin. Then I'll stick a nail set in the hole, and I should be able to twist the pin free. There it goes. And conveniently, the bushings are in the part of the hinge that I removed. So as long as the hinge pin's not oversized, I shouldn't have to do any prep work to the half of the hinge that's still in the car. I'll just confirm that by checking the fit. And it's good. The splines are a press fit and the shaft is a push fit, just like it should be. Now I can take the other half of the hinge and re-bush it. The old ones appear to be nylon-coated steel bushings, or at least they were. Most of the nylon seems to be worn off. And since they're split bushings, they're really easy to remove. All you need to do is pry them out with a screwdriver. Well, maybe a pair of pliers too, if it was a little stubborn like this one was. Now that the old bushings are removed, all I need to do is clean it up a little and press the new bushings in. Alright, this kit will rebush 2 hinges. So it comes with 4 brass bushings that have an oversized OD, and 4 pot metal bushings, which should be a press fit in the existing holes. But these pot metal bushings just drop right in. They're actually a little loose in the hole, which sucks because now I'm going to have to drill out the hinges to fit the oversized bushings. All because this kit didn't come with the right sized standard bushings. But if you look on the bright side, brass wears better than pot metal, which is just a zinc alloy. Alright, as you can see, I've already pressed 1 oversized bushing in. And I already drilled this hole out to 29/64, which is 1 drill bit size under a slip fit. Even though the pin fits the bushing nice now, I'll have to ream the bushing after I press it in, because the bushing got slightly compressed, and its inside diameter will shrink. I'll get the bushing started in the hole, run a 5/16 bolt through it with washers and a nut, and tighten the bolt till the unflanged end of the bushing is flush. That's about as far as it'll go. And I can see that it's about a little less than a 1/16 of an inch gap from the flange. So I know I'm in flush with the end. There you go. Flush with the end. But I don't have the flange seated against there, so I'm going to take a 15mm wrench, or a 5/8 wrench actually. Let me get one. Now I'll take the 5/8 wrench and put it on this side as a spacer. Run the bolt and washer through, put the other washer and nut back on, make sure the wrench is centered, and now drive the bushing all the way home. And now that I can see there's no gap between the flange and the steel, I can remove the bolt. Okay, so both bushings are pressed in. And as you can see, the threaded end of the pin fits in the bushing I just pressed in, but not the shank. So I'll have to ream it out, just like I did to the first bushing I pressed in. I'll use an 11/32 drill bit, which is the same diameter as the pin. And as you can see, just like the bolt, it easily fits in the bushing before it's pressed in. Even though I'm using a drill, I'm using the word ream, because all I'm doing is bringing the bushing back to its original ID, which would properly be called a reaming process. And it would definitely be more accurate if I did it with an 11/32 straight reamer. Okay, there you go. Now I'm going to run it reverse just to kind of smooth it out a bit. Also, by running the bit in reverse while extracting it, you'll maintain a more accurate diameter because you're less likely to wallow out the hole, which is the primary goal of a reaming process. Take the clamp off. Then it should fit right in there. There you go. This hinge is now rebushed, and I can go back to the car and put it back in. Before I reinstall it, I need to lubricate the bushings because they're brass and not plastic like the original. If they were plastic, nylon, like the originals, they wouldn't need any lubrication ever. The only maintenance they would need would be replaced when they wear out, like I'm doing now to this driver's door, 24 years after I bought the car. And the passenger door is still going strong. On the other hand, brass bushings can last indefinitely, but only if they're regularly lubricated. If you only lubricate them when they start squeaking, like most people do, including me, it's highly unlikely that they'll last as long as nylon. Now that it's all lubricated, I can put the nut on. And it's an aircraft nut, so I'll take this little dinky hammer and give the pin a few taps to engage the splines so the pin won't rotate when I tighten the nut. And you want to tighten it down until the head is fully seated against the bottom of the hinge. Okay, the head is flush with the bottom. There's no gap. But now the hinge is way too tight. Can't even turn it. So I'll need to back off on the nut until the hinge turns with only a slight resistance. And since it's a nylock, it'll hold the adjustment. Yeah, I like that.
Next, I got to replace the bushings in the lower hinge, which is pretty much the same thing. The only difference is it has a door check roller, which is also in need of repair. The first step is to remove the old pin. There's more than one way to do it, but cutting it in half with a die grinder worked well enough last time. So I'll take the die grinder and do it again.
Okay, that's cut through.
Now I'll pry it apart with a screwdriver.
Yeah, we got it. Okay.
Now I'll grab a pair of pliers and pull it out. And this time the top half of the pin, that doesn't have splines, came out. Since this bottom end of the pin has splines, I can't twist it to get it free. I could drive it out with a punch, or maybe I can wedge a thin screwdriver under the head. And now I created a gap, so I can get a big screwdriver in there and pry it free.
Yeah, there we go. We got it. Still pretty tight. There it goes. Okay, we got through the splines.
Now I'll just take a pair of pliers and pull it out. There you go. The splined end of the pin is removed. Now I can take this half of the hinge off so I can rebush it and repair the door check roller. Now I can remove the bushings. And since they are split bushings, all I need to do is collapse them and pop them out with a screwdriver. And like most things, it goes easier the second time around because you know exactly what you're up against. But if you're watching this video, it'll go easier the first time around. Hell, it would have went easier for me if I watched this video.
Also, this has the roller for the door check and this rubber tire. All right, went around here originally.
But it developed a split and fell off. I suppose I could replace it with a new tire made out of a piece of 3/4 inch heater hose. And it would be just as good, if not better, than this tire originally was. Because heater hose is made from reinforced EPDM rubber, which is highly resistant to abrasion and very durable. But I don't got any heater hose lying around, and the axle's pressed in, so it'll be a bit of a pain. So I'll do a down and dirty repair and just glue this tire back on. Yeah, I know, that's a pretty lame repair, but it's just a door check. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I stuck with the plan and took the easy way out for this roller repair. All I did was clean out the groove of the roller with a brush, and then I glued the old tire back on with E6000 adhesive. How long this tire will stay on is anybody's guess, but like I said, I really don't care. It's just a door check roller. Now getting back to the hinge pin bushings, the repair that does matter, I have to drill out the hinge to 29 32nds. And I'll start off with a 7/16 bit, which is about 1/64 bigger than the existing hole. Even though there's a greater chance of chipping the leading edge of a drill bit when going in 1/64 increments, it's more accurate when using a handheld electric drill. Next, I'll bring it up to 29 64ths, which is the size I need. Okay, it's drilled out. Now I can go ahead and press the bushings in, like I did before. But what I neglected to show you was that the bushings came with square leading edges. So I chamfered them with a file, so they start and bore easier. The next step is to press the bushings in, with a 5/16 bolt, 2 washers, and a nut, like I did before. Okay, both bushings are now pressed in. And just like before, the shank of the pin won't fit in either bushing, because they got compressed when they were pressed in, and the ID shrunk. So again, just like before, I'll have to ream it out with an 11 32nds bit back to its original size. There you go. Now it's reamed out to 11 32nds, so the pin drops right in. Alright, the lower hinge is now rebushed and ready to go back on the car. I've already lubricated the bushings and installed it in the car. And now I'm just adjusting the tension on the hinge pin, just like I did for the top hinge. All that's left before I put the door back on is to grease the axle of the door check roller. Okay, now that that's done, I can put the door back on. I just have to place it on the crate, get in position, and put the bolts back in. And then align the door, which was a piece of cake, because all I had to do was line up the marks. After you've bolted the door on, close it and check the alignment, and adjust it if necessary. And in my case, because I marked the hinges, the alignment's pretty good. But more importantly, when I open the door, there's no drop, and it closes with a light push, just like it did when it was new. So that's it, the door hinge bushings have been replaced. And that E6000 adhesive seems to be doing a surprisingly good job bonding the old rubber tire back onto the roller. So the door check is also repaired. The only thing left to do is reconnect the wiring and reinstall the interior panels. And they go together a lot easier than they came apart, because the body clips and connectors are designed to go together quickly, but not to come apart easily. And this is the last screw. So everything's back together, and the job is complete.